Hi, this is Mario, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make displacement maps in Photoshop CC. So basically what displacement maps are that they take something flat and you put it on a textured surface and it gives it depth. This technique usually works best if it's used with lines or that are straight or if they're curvy or anything, but as long as it can wrap around a texture. Alright, let's get started. So first I have this image of a portrait, which is what I'm going to use. I'm going to wrap it around his face. So I'm going to take this picture I found of sheet music and just drag it over and then drag it on top. Then drag it directly over his face. And from here, you're going to want to change the blending mode from this to overlay. Look over here. And now, since it looks too bright and way too wrong, you're going to want to turn down the opacity down to about maybe 50%. Actually, let's go with 40. That's good. All right, and then you're going to want, after that, you're just going to want to turn off the layer for now because we're going to work with something different. We're going to move over to the channels panel over here, and then we're going to look at all the channels. And from here, we're going to hold down Command or Control if you're on a PC, and then click on the RGB channel. And from here, it's going to select all the lights and the darks on the photo so that it actually knows how much depth there is in the photo. And from here, you go down to the bottom right corner, in this little box with the circle, it'll say Save Selection as Channel. You click that, and this Alpha 1 channel should pop up. From here, you just deselect with Command D, and then you go down to the Alpha channel and select that. Right, the next thing you want to do is go to Filter up top, and then go down to Blur, and then Gaussian Blur. And then from here, you're going to want to blur it, probably not too much, maybe about, say, 2.0. 2 pixels is fine. And then it's going to blur it, and we do this because it's going to tell us how well it wraps around the face, because it kind of points out shadows and highlights from the face. All right, and from here you go to levels. You go to Image, Adjustments, over to Levels right here. And you're going to want to bring out the darks and the lights. So basically just make it super contrasted. So probably bring this up a little bit, bring the highlights up, and this middle one, probably a good thing to work with. And I'd say maybe that's about good. So yeah, maybe 23.74 and 200. All right, and then just press OK. All right, and from here, you're going to want to go to this pop-out window from the Channels panel. It'll be over here on the far right over here, and then go to Duplicate Channel. From here, it's going to tell you that you're going to want to save it as a separate file. So from here, you go to Document, always do New if you've never done it before. Then give it a special name, like, so I'm going to name this Blonde. And then you're going to say OK, and then a new file over here is going to pop up, so it's going to be separate from these two. And then you're going to want to save this to the desktop, so because you're going to need it later to select it, and just save it to the desktop. And then from here, you go back to the original file, and you go back to all the files here. You turn off the alpha channel and then turn back on the RGB channels, and then it'll just look normal. Now you turn the image back on the sheet music, and from here you make sure you're selected on this layer, and then you go to Filter, Distort, and then Displace. From here, it's going to actually distort the actual image for you. So you're going to want to go horizontal scale, maybe 10, and then vertical scale, do a negative number. So put a negative number, so negative 10 would work. But the higher the numbers are, the stronger it's going to be. So I'm going to go with maybe 5 or so, and then press OK. And then it's going to bring up this pop-up window, and from here you pick the file you just saved to the desktop. So you're going to pick this. And it's going to take that and wrap it around the highlights and shadows of what you already did. And then from here, you're going to want to mask away the sides so it actually just looks like it's only on his face. So from here, you're going to make sure you're selected on the music notes layer. Go down to the bottom right corner, you'll see a little box with a square. It's going to be a layer mask button right over here. Click that, and then this box will show up. And then to mask it away, make sure this selection is around the mask and not the image. And you're going to want to go to the paintbrush tool over here, and then make sure your foreground color is in black. And then you're going to paint over the sides to the other sides you want to get rid of, like this. Let's zoom in and get a little detail over here. Get out of the hair too, so, all right. Probably tone it away from his eyes too, so they look a little more realistic. And maybe his lips as well. And if you want to get rid of, probably if it's too much on the face, so you can turn on the opacity at the top over here, so you can get rid of a little less. So I'm probably going to get rid of a little more off the forehead, but probably not all of it completely. So I just want to get some of it off. All right, and I think that looks pretty good. So if you think it's good, just then you can always adjust it more also. You can put it back a little more, like reverse the mask, make the foreground color white over here, and then you can repaint it and bring some of the music notes back also. Right, well, thank you for listening and subscribe to my page.